See, Christians, and I'm 18 incidentally, you know, so Christians had to battle, see, they might have to battle early of mistreatment, of suffering. And we look at the farmer, and then we all need to go back and read about Job. And then you'll be able to see that things work out now in the end. So you see that latter rain, that early rain does come. So you can read about Job. And the reason I'm not going to go down through Job, I thought Reuben took us through all of that. And what we need to do, letting patience have her perfect work. You have to really wait it out a lot of times to learn the lessons that you need to. See, you jump the gun on mistreatment, you go grab a gun, or you just gonna go get you a lawsuit going because this, and see, burn your resources and just going after. What I mean is, got a little vengeance in your heart, a little murmuring, grumbling, and then see, next thing you know, you done hurt yourself trying to recoup a little something. And see, that's what Paul told the Corinthians. Why don't you just rather suffer wrong? See, before you go through these unethical or these extremes here, see, like taking your brother to law. Why don't you just take wrong? It ain't worth it doing wrong, trying to get back at somebody or trying to recoup every dime. See, some brethren, they like that. They want their money back. And it's been brethren here, some in this room that they ate thousands of dollars because people wouldn't pay them back. Brothers in Christ wouldn't pay them back. See, so we have to. So that's what James is talking about here. Dealing with whatever sufferings. See, in Job's case, the loss of one child would gut most parents. See. So he'd be a good one to go back and look and see, I can get through this. Now I can make it through, or you lose your job and you just don't see, you just ain't no way around it. Boy, you need to go look at Job. Let's really look at somebody here who went through something, a little grander, larger scale than you've been through, and that thing turned out so good for him in the end, unbeknownst to him. See, the Lord intended what he intended. See, because Job hung in there, stayed faithful to the Lord. Now, he questioned God. He started because the counsel of his friends, and a lot of times, see, bad friends hurt us, causes suffering in the church because you get people, they'll pacify you in your wrong. A lot of times. They won't tell you, no, you wrong on this point. You need to make that right. Go straighten that out. They won't. They pacify the brother or sister. And that's what Job's buddies come along and said all kind of mess, wrong about God, misspoke about God, blamed Job. You must have done something wrong, and see, a man's having already to deal with the stress of loss of children, family, financial ruin, and then see his buddies is here to pour on, pile on. So, let us take the farmer, let us take the prophets. Let us solve our problems. Let's not murmur and grumble against Christians. The judge is at the door. Now, that's what we see. These misbehaving Christians, they forget that the judge is standing at the door. See, that he's going to deal with them. He's going to get them for their misbehavior. See, they think they're doing a brother harm by murmuring. They think that this lust of the flesh I can't stand her. I can't stand him. He did something. I don't agree with it. I don't think his judgment was good. And then resentment builds and, ill will instead of just going, look, here's the issue I got. Can we talk about that? See, peacemaker, but it turns into nasty stuff and it eats the churches up, see, because what's missing? Patience. Say the brother, something happened and he can't wait 5 minutes to call or to tell, he got to go tell somebody what happened to him or he been mistreated or something went wrong. And he just like he can't wait 2 seconds. See, the problem there is a lack of patience, isn't it? So you was mistreated and then you sinned out the gate. You couldn't even get off the ground good. That's weak, isn't it? That's weak in faith. See, you can't wait a week. You got to murmur like grumbling. It just, you let the devil just beat you up like that. No resistance. Your first resort is to do something sinful, to go speak evil of your brother instead of going sitting down talking to him. Really? Go tell others about it. It's a bad shape when patience isn't working in our lives. See, the devil got us. Well, if ain't no patience there, see, he'll tell you, hey, get on the phone right now, and we do it. Hey, look at here. You see what he said? You hear what he, can't even hold on us, get out the assembly good. The devil eat us up a lot of times. So the point is, let us fashion patience to our character. Let us fasten this waiting on the Lord to come. He says, I'm coming. I'm coming. And I'm at the door of the people mistreating brethren. I'm hearing the wages. I got this. See? So, any thoughts, comments, anything along those lines before we move on into, is any suffering? Is any merry? Is any sick among you? Yes, sir. How many?
Rich. We're warned about all this before it ever even happens. We're already warned. Ecclesiastes 7. I'm going to back up verse 11. The patience is one thing, but the wisdom behind it. It says wisdom is good with an inheritance and profitable to those who see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, as money is a defense. I say it mentions money here. Man with a lot of money, he's going to throw it at whatever he has to defend himself. And to those who are receiving it, apply it however it is. It can ruin the one that has the money that's throwing it for his defense. It can ruin the man who's receiving it. Hey, look at the money he's giving us. We're not going to go against this man. Now that goes on both ends. It also defines character. Can you trust the man in charge that's receiving it? As much as the one who's giving it? It'll ruin you if you let it. But the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those who have it. It'll tell a story on you. Well, we can't say nothing about it. Look at the money this guy's giving. Whether it's a court case or irrelevant. And that goes back to, as money is a defense. Why are cases just drawn out Look who's involved and look at the money that's involved.
Mhm.
Now, the other one was the same book. But it had to do with, here it is right here, in chapter 9, Ecclesiastes. Back up to verse 14. Now there was a little city with few men in it, and a great king came against it, besieged it, and built great snares around it. Now there was found in it a poor. See, here's mentioning the money part of it. The poor, wise man. And he by his wisdom delivered the city, and yet no one remembered that same poor man.
Mhm.
Yet it was his wisdom that delivered that city.
Mhm.
It's just like you can have men of wisdom give advice for this or that. It could be a case where, you know what, he's not the man paying the bills.
Mhm.
Apparently he was here in a sense of wisdom,
Mhm.
but he was forgotten after the fact. You know, we're all in just such turmoil, and then when it's out, he's forgotten.
You know, Glenn, when Paul wrote to the saints at Corinth about suing each other, what he argues, you know, one of the things he argues is you ought to let Christians judge these matters with you. See? He rebukes the church. Is there not a wise man among you? You're going to have to go out here to sinners trying to recoup your money, sin against the Lord by taking these matters before the unjust. See, but he argues, and that's the thing. We need to take full advantage of our wisdom. There's a lot of good wisdom in this room, and it could spare brethren and sisters a lot of wrongdoing and hardship if people took advantage of it. See, if they just only took advantage, because this people in this church, we're conservative enough that you'll get told the right thing. Now, if you go get off with your buddies, now you may hear the right, you may not. But it's people in this church that see it straight down the line. You get your problem fixed if you want it fixed. Now, you may not want it fixed, see. You may want to click. But if you want your problem fixed, it's conservative brethren in here. And they're going to look at you. They'll tell you, right here, it's good judges in this room, at this congregation, see. And they could spare brethren, see, a lot. They may not get they may not be men of renown. I'm just talking about good, solid, honest men with good judges and good men in their own right. Like Glenn talking about, see, this little guy that saved the city, now he ain't going to get the credit. You see, he ain't got enough, under his belt to get the credit. See, credibility shot when he a poor man, but the wisdom prevails. See, and we got it here. We have always had it here. We got to seek it out, be wise, want to know the truth, want to know, have I done something wrong, want it told. It's brethren here to tell you. I'm fully confident of that. In this room, among the church here at East Albemarle, good brethren, good sisters that can solve problems between brethren if you want it solved. See, now that's the problem. A lot of times it ain't nobody trying to really get at the bottom of it. I'm not talking about here, just that's the way brethren are a lot of times. Because if they're trying to solve it, they'd have done solved it. That's the point. See. So, we can't sue each other, and neither can we swear before God in court. You notice what James says down here, but above all, at verse 12, my brethren, don't swear, either by heaven, by earth, with any other oath, but let your yes be yes, your no, no, lest you fall into condemnation. That's what Jesus Christ said. And James adds something to it. See, here's what the Spirit, guided these men later to say this, but above all, you see. Now think about that. I spent a good bit of time meditating on, that's something, isn't it? If God says, but above all. Now we done talked about a lot. You looked at what we've talked about in this book and how important it is. Since he'd been on the planet, kids, they want to swear. I promised Daddy I didn't. And since he'd been able to hear, I said, no, you just tell me. I'm rolling with what you say. See, and he knows to this day, he's had to live with that. As he's ever lied to Dad, that's on him. See, but I never let him swear. What I raised him is, when you tell me something, that's it. I promise, Daddy, I'll pay you. No. You want me to loan you what? And you're going to do what? I'll pay on when? Done. Let your yes be yes. See, because you roll out here talking about, I swear before God, you get condemned. See, you can't do that, because you can't roll that high. You see, in your character, nobody's that good. See, that's what Jesus them was saying, that you can't change nothing. You swear before before the great city. You swear before God. See. Instead of just saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And we're in court where you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And the Christian says, I will tell the truth. That's what we do. I'll tell you the truth. Say, yes, I will tell you the truth. But no, we don't swear. And you might take a minute to explain it to them. No, sir, I don't swear. But what I will do is tell you the truth. See? Because if I swear, that ain't going to make it red, white, up or down, black or white. That's the truth about it. See? And I don't want to be condemned by the God of heaven. That's what these verses is saying. It's what Jesus said over here. And that's what James is saying. But James says above all. See, in some sense, above all that we've been talking about here, you let your speech, see, and this used to be something, didn't it, Donnie? Where it was really emphasized. Now, your word is your bond. See, you take it to the bank. Now, what's more important than a person's word? And in their family and in their home, when something's said, do it. Die trying to do what you said you were going to do. Don't renege on promises. See, that's what Jesus was talking about. You've heard it said by those of old, you shall not forswear. See, that was the idea of running your mouth and not keeping your vow, not keeping what you said you were going to do. And Jesus says, but no, here's what I'm changing the standard. No swearing at all. See, now you can not keep your word, but no swearing at all. Swear not at all. Judicial oaths, family oaths, buddy oaths, brother and sister oath, whatever the relationship, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Whatever becomes more than that brings on condemnation. Any thoughts or anything along those lines? Because I believe that's what James is saying. Now, these next three statements, if you notice, James says, is anybody suffering? Is anybody happy, merry? is anybody sick? Then he tells the Christian what to do. I remember, I think there'll be some here that remember this. You know, Brother Sutton did a lesson one time. It seemed like 100 lessons on let, L-E-T. Goodness, man, I thought, I thought I was going to die, going let, hey, let, he just went out and threw all the lets. Well, the point is some contend, that let is kind of like a suggestion. When you see let, maybe you can do it, maybe you can't. And that he went through and just showed, that does this sound like let, if any man comes after me, let him deny himself. And, does that sound like, oh, you can if you want to, say, then he went through all of that. Well, let's fasten some of that onto these 3 lets right here. Now, he's not, this ain't suggestions, this ain't, if you're suffering, it's a, I'd encourage you to pray. You can pray if you want to. That's really not what's going on here. These are instructions of what we need to do when we have these 3 conditions. See, when we're happy, or when we're suffering, or when we're sick, he tells us what to do, how to approach it. Now, a few little parameters, because that verse 14 is a little monster. It's a controversial verse. But what we need to, here's something I want us to keep in mind as we look at this. I think we will leave an agreement on this verse. I think I have confidence that we will. But one thing that causes issues when these verses are looked at is that to get locked in on the verse so much that you forget that everything that God has said on that topic isn't in that verse. See, like when he says, now, if you sick, call for the elders. Well, what if you don't have no elders? See what I'm saying? See? What if there are no elders at the church? Say, can he call a brother, Can the prayer of faith still save him? You see what I'm saying? Everything getting in the verse is all I mean. And I wanted to point out another parameter we need to, consider is when we see an expression like, is any man or anyone suffering? Now, boy, the Bible says a lot about suffering, don't it? But right here, one of the things, because what comes to mind is this now, every time we're sick, you catch a cold, you got to call the elders. Is that what this passage is saying? If any man is sick, so if you just took, that'd be a cold, wouldn't it? A stomach ache, a headache, something like that. Well, nobody could get nothing. The elders couldn't get their little work done. It's not talking about that. And so the point being, everything in these verses here don't tell us everything to do on these particular things. See, like one aspect of it, when this elder gets there, and you notice it's plural. See, so if one's unavailable, it don't say call an elder, does it? You see how this verse, everything ain't here in this passage, because that would trip up a lot of, Rex is down. Well, we sick, but we can't call Brother Hall because the passage says elders. If anyone's sick among you, let him call for the elders of the church, see. So, I just want to remind us of that. That'll help us as we go through looking at these expressions. Just keep in mind, and we can talk about that, and point some of these other things out. Like if you happy, you know, this verse here says if anybody is happy or merry, your translation might say, mine says cheerful. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing psalms. Can he pray? You know, when you're happy, can you pray? See, the point is, it ain't all here, is it? You get locked in there seeing just what you got. Well, I think, you know, we'll be able to see that just like with these sins, see, just like with this sickness, just like with these sufferings, just like with this happiness, that here's a commandment for us to follow. See, without the parameter, with all the parameters mentioned in the text. See, pray how long? See, how many times? Let him pray. See, there's things missing there. So let's take that into these passages. I think we'll try to get it nailed down, Lord willing. If Glenn don't do his 4 or 5 verses, we'd have got through it. But I'm not going to hold that against him. No, I appreciate that. Those were great verses. But appreciate y'all's thoughts, and we didn't get any from y'all, but appreciate y'all sitting patiently, and all. Lord willing, we will pick up there next week. Dissect, Shauna, verse 14, Lord willing.